Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be making this ruffle scrunchie sleeve. The reason for this tutorial is the sleeve, okay? But during the process I'm going to show you how I went about how I made the top, like everything aside the shirts, okay? But the main tutorial is how to cut and make these ruffle scrunchie sleeve. So if you're interested in it, keep on watching. To my return subscribers, I love you all. If you're just seeing me for the first time, thank you so much for stopping by. If you haven't subscribed, quickly hit on the subscribe button and turn on your notification bell. All right, so now I'm going to get a pattern paper. You minus 7 inches out of it, so I minus 7 and I will get my bust point, my under bust, my waistline, and the length of this top. Okay, the length I want it to be 25. I'm going to be adding extra 1 inch for folding. All right, so this is it. Make sure you minus your 7 inches while taking your measurements, your vertical points. So I'm going to mark the lines horizontally just as you see me do. Okay, just as you see me do, mark the lines horizontal, label the lines, my full length, my waistline, my under bust, and my bust point. This is going to be a very simple tutorial. Like, yeah, it's beginners friendly. So the next thing we're going to do is to mark our nipple to nipple divided by 2, which is mine is 4.5, and that's what I'm doing from the beginning to the full length of this dress, of this top. And I'm going to connect the lines with a straight line, just the way I'm doing now. Time to tighten our under bust. So in your under bust area, you're going to come out by 1 inch. If you're not busty, use 0.75 or half inch, depending on how slim, like if you don't have a bust. But if you're busty, use 1 inch on both sides of your under bust. All right, and connect it to the bust point. Then you mark it this way, just the way you see me doing it. All right, so this is our dart leg, and on the upper tightening, we're going to tighten the upper part. I'll come out by 0.75. okay, come out by 0.75. on the under bust I came out by 1 inch. On this part I came out by 0.75, and I'm going to connect it on a curve just this way. All right, I'm just trying to correct this part. I want to give it a little curve, like I want it to adapt a little curve effect. All right, and that is it. So the next thing we're going to do now is to take our body measurements, our round body measurements. I'm going to divide my round chest by 4, and I'm going to mark it and replace that intake. I'm not going to be adding any allowance on this pattern paper. All right, on my bust I'm going to divide my bust, or I'm going to divide my bust, and on my under bust I'm going to divide my under bust as well and replace the dart intake. No allowance yet. I'm going to add on the necessary allowance on my fabric. On the waist I'll divide my waist by 4, replace the dart intake, and on the hip, the full length, I'm going to use my hip measurement, divide it by 4. all right, no allowance, no sewing allowance, and I'm going to mark it to connect the lines this way. The next thing I'm going to do now is to come up by 1.5 inches, just to give it, you can leave yours that way, but I want to give mine a little design at the full length, like at the down part, like curve, like a curve. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this out. Okay, please guys, if you're following what I'm doing, please give this video a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed to my channel, I beg you in the name of God, you're going to be missing a whole lot. Hit on the subscribe button, and do not forget to turn on your notification bell so you'll be the first to get notified whenever I post beautiful tutorials. So watch and see how I am cutting mine. This is self-explanatory and it's beginners friendly. If you're a beginner, you can make, like, this tutorial is still for you, because you can find your way through it if you watch this, if you stick to this video till the end. So now this is it. I'm going to label my side front and my center front. So I'll get a new pattern paper and we're going to be drafting for the back. Okay, so I'm getting a new pattern paper and I am going to mark my starting line. I normally do that whenever I want to draft on a pattern paper. Very important. Draft my starting, mark my starting line, and I'm going to minus that same 7 inches. But first of all, come out by 1.5 inches for your zipper. That is what I'm trying to do. I'll come out by 1.5 inch for my zipper, and after marking it, I'm going to connect it on a straight line, just the way you see me doing. Then after that, I'm going to minus 7 inches before taking my vertical point, which I did for the front. So minus your 7 inches, I got my bust point, my waistline, and the full length of this dress, and I'm going to connect the lines horizontally, just the way you see me doing. All right, and I'll label that full length, waistline, and my bust point. Now I'm going to divide my bust pan, which I did for the front, divide it by 2, which I said it's 4.5. okay, I'm going to take that from the beginning to the length of this top, and I'm going to mark a straight line, just the way you see me doing. As simple as that. Then on the waistline, I'm going to come out by 1 inch. The front I came out by 1 inch on the underbust, but the back does not have any underbust, so I'll be coming out by on my waistline by 1 inch, and I'll connect it just that leg, just the way you see me doing. All right, it's as simple as that. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to connect this to the top. Like, I'm going to connect it to the top slantly. You watch and see how I'm doing it. Can you see? It's as simple as that. So this will be cut off, this part will be cut off. So I'm going to insert my round body measurement. Okay, so I'm going to, on my bust, on my chest line, that's on the upper part, I'm going to divide my chest by 4, and I'll mark it down. Divide my bust by 4, and I will mark it. Okay, I'll divide my bust by 4, I'll mark it. Divide my waist by 4, replace the dart intake, and the length of my top, I'll divide my hip by 4, and this is what I have. Then the next thing I'm going to do is to connect the lines this way. All right, as simple as that. Connect your lines this way. And now we're going to do our zipper tightening. So to prevent our zipper from bulging, come out by 1/2 inch on your waistline, and you're going to mark it slantly like this. If you're following my channel, you should know we always do this on any dress that has a zipper. Okay, so that is it. Then I also do the same thing I did for the front. I'll do it at the back. All right, now the back, I want it to be lower a little, so I'm just going to get my little curve, and mark it just this way. All right, just this way. This is also going to make your zip relax. Your zipper is going to be relaxed. So I curve that down part the way I did for the front, and I'll go ahead and cut this out. Okay, after cutting it, we are going to be drafting on my fabric. Guys, please, if you're following, indicate down the comment section. If you have any question, you can still leave it down the comment section. All right, so I'll cut this. After cutting this, we are going to cut on our fabrics. Okay, so guys, this is it. I'm done cutting. I'll label the back, center back, and the side back. All right, we're done drafting. This is my back, while this is my front. Okay, so this is it. We're going to cut on our fabric now. I want to say something, please. If you're making this for a client, this particular fabric, I made it for a customer, for a client. Okay, I made it for a client, so the remaining one is what I used in cutting this. And as you can see, I added all the necessary allowances that I needed. On the full length, on the hem length, I added about 1.5 inches for folding. Okay, now I'm not going to be using any lining for this. Now, if you're making this for a client, all this you have cut out on your main fabric, cut the same thing on your lining piece. Okay, cut the same thing on your lining piece, so that you can be able to use your lining to turn it, and it's going to be finer. Okay, but for me, I'm going to be using bias to turn my neckline, because I wanted to use lining for it, but I don't have lights. So for the lining, I have to iron facing for it, that's steel, but I don't have light, so that is why I'm not using any lining for this. And luckily for me, the fabric I'm using is this big Ankara, the big one. Those ones they sell 20, so my fabric has weight, it's not light. Okay, so if you're making this for a client, please and use lining for yours, or you use a facing. Okay, do not use bias to turn your neckline. Why I'm doing this is for the sake of the tutorial. Someone actually requested for this sleeve. for this ruffle crunchy sleeve. Okay, so I'm going to be joining the sides now. This is my front. I'll join my sides to the center front, that is the side front to the center front. I'll join it using 1/2 inch. After that, make sure you notch. Okay, make sure you notch after joining. So this is the front. Then I'm going to keep this aside. I'll get the back, and I'm also going to join the back as well. So I'll also join the back. I'll also I'm going to unpin it. You see, I added all the necessary allowances I needed on the fabric. So I'm going to unpin it, and I'll be attaching the side back to the center back. Okay, you can use a loose stitch to hold your zipper area. Okay, after attaching, you can open it back. So I'm attaching the side back to the center back. Okay, this is it. So assuming you're using a lining piece, everything you're doing on this main fabric, you're also going to do it on the lining piece. Okay, so this is it. I'm done joining. This is the front. I'm going to notch. I notched it already. This is the front. So assuming you're using the lining, everything you're doing on your main fabric, I repeat, you're also doing it on your lining piece. All right, but I'm not using lining because I don't have light, so I can't iron still on my lining. So I'm going to get the back, join it side by sides, then turn my neckline with the bias and hem the full length. Okay, so guys, I'm done. Can you see I used bias, though I used my fabric as a bias, I use it in turning it. So guys, it's time to cut the ruffles. That's the sleeve. Okay, so to get this sleeve, you're going to, this video that just popped up your screen now, you're going to measure from one side of your armhole round to the other side of your armhole, which I just did for mine. Okay, like which mine is 28. I did for myself, mine is 28. This video is just to show you how to do it. Okay, so mine is 28, and this, what I have on this smaller piece, is 28. Now you're going to get another fabric, which is like another long fabric. This is it. Okay, this is it. Get another long fabric, and times the longness is going to be ×2 of what you got from one side of your armhole to the other side. You know, I said mine is 28, so this other fabric I cut out is ×2. That's 28 plus 28. Do you understand? ×2, and the wideness is 5.5 inches. Okay, hope you understand. Get a smaller piece of 28, the exact length you have for your round sleeve, the way you measured it, that your round from one side of the armhole to the other side of the armhole, which is the smaller part you're seeing on the screen. Then on a longer piece, you're going to get ×2 of what you got for that from one armhole to the other armhole. Do you understand? Which is the one I am folding. The wideness is 5.5 inches. You can make your 6. Now on the open edge, you come up by 2 inches or 1.5 inches. Come up by 2 inches or 1.5 inches, and I am going to mark it down. Hope you are following. Mark it down. Then I'm not going to be marking anything. I'm going to maintain that 5.5 that I have. Okay, now you're going to slant it. You're going to slant it to get to the other side. Okay, slant it upwards, not curve. You're slanting it. You can use your ruler to slant it. So this is what I have. So I'll go ahead and cut it out. Now I do not have enough fabric. That was why I times mine ×2. That's 28 ×2. So if you have enough fabric, get that 28 ×3. It's going to make the ruffles fuller. Do you understand? So I don't have enough fabric. This is the fabric I used in making for a client. So this is the remaining fabric. That's what I'm using for this tutorial. Okay, so times yours ×3. ×3 of what you got from one armhole of your body to the other armhole, ×3. Okay, now this is what I have. I'll open it up. Then I will go take it to my sewing machine, and I'll run a stitch on it. Like I'll close that part and I'll turn it to the right side. Then I'll bring that 28, that exact 28, I'll run a stitch and close it. Okay, leaving the two sides open. That's the other side. That's where you're going to turn it from. Do you understand? So this is what I have. I am done stitching it. Now you can use elastic for yours. So, but me, I'm using this exact 28 as a fabric. Okay, you can use elastic for yours, but I'm using elastic will not last. Use fabric. Now you're going to get that exact 28, that smaller one, and you're going to pass it on the bigger one. Do you understand? pass it on the bigger one. The smaller one is that exact 28 you got on your round, your round sleeve. That's from one armhole to the other. Okay, mine is 28. That is the smaller one. The smaller one is the exact 28. So that is what you're going to pass inside the big one. I don't know if I'm making sense, guys. If you're understanding, please let me know down the comment section. Now you're going to take it inside and use your pin to hold it. So use your pin and pin it down, hold it that place so that it's not going to shift. Okay, use your pin and hold it, and you start passing through. Okay, I'm trying to hold that place so that it will not move, it's not shift. So I'm trying to look for my pin, where my pin is. That's what I'm doing. So you're going to start passing it again. Okay, while you're passing, you'll be dragging it, to make that ruffles. Okay, so that is what I'm doing now. Just be passing your fabric. I'm calling it elastic. So when you get to the mouth, you use your pin to hold it down again. Okay, use your pin to hold it down. So this is what I have. Can you see? So I'll go and stitch it, the mouth, so that will hold it down. So I'll stitch the mouth. I'll take it to my sewing machine and I am going to stitch the mouth. Do you understand? That's the tip. So this is it. I'm done stitching it. Can you see the ruffles? The ruffles is out. So I'm going to take it, come out by, on your bust area. On your bust area, you come out by 4 inches, then or 3.5 inches. That is where you're going to stitch it. So I'll use my pin to hold it down, and on the other side I'll also do same thing. I'll use my pin to hold it down, then take it to my sewing machine, and I am going to stitch it down. Do you understand? This is what you're going to have. You see, the ruffles is not that full, okay, but when you do it times 3, it's going to be very full. You get? So this is it, guys. We've come to the end of this tutorial. This is the end result, and the ruffle is not looking bad actually. But if you want yours like you're making for your clients, please make sure you cut on the bigger rope, which is this one. Make it times 3 so that it will be fuller. You get? Make it times 3, but the smaller one is your exact round sleeve. That's your exact, that's from your one side of your armhole to the other side. So guys, we've come to the end of this tutorial. As you can see, the ruffles came out very fine, but please, if you're making for a client, make sure you times yours times 3. Okay, and if you watch this top, I did not use lining on it, but it came out really fine because the African print I use is the bigger one. Okay, but make sure you use lining for a client, all right, unless you're wearing it yourself. So we've come to the end of this tutorial. If you find this helpful and interesting, do not forget to give this video a thumbs up, share my video, and leave a nice comment. You can as well leave a question down the comment section if you have one. All right guys, see you on my next one. Bye, and do not forget to subscribe, guys. Subscribe and turn on your notification bell so you could be notified whenever I post beautiful tutorials like this. Bye.